Hello students, in this video I am going to explain you the poem Foreign Lands. This beautiful poem is written by the poet Robert Louis Stevenson, a Scottish novelist, poet and travel writer. The poem describes the imagination, curiosity and anxiousness of a child about his surroundings and unfamiliar places. Here's the poem. Let me read it for you. Foreign lands. Up into the cherry tree, who should climb but little me? I held the trunk with both my hands and looked abroad on foreign lands. I saw the next door garden lie adorned with flowers before my eye, and many pleasant places more that I had never seen before. I saw the dimpling river pass and be the sun's blue looking glass. The dusty roads go up and down with people trampling into town. If I could find a higher tree, farther and farther I should see, to where the grown-up river slips into the sea among the ships, to where the roads on either hand lead onward into fairy land, where all the children dine at 5 and all the playthings come alive. Now let's see difficult word meanings. Climb, to go up, just like the poet is going up. Trunk, the thick central part of the tree. You can see the portion between the root and the branches. The thicker part of the tree is known as trunk. Abroad. Abroad means distant, as you can see in the image. Foreign lands. Far off places, as you can see in the image. Far off, here it refers to the unfamiliar places. Adorned, decorated, just like this Christmas tree is decorated. Pleasant, happiness giving, enjoyment giving, enjoying, just like this figure is enjoying. Dimpling, dimpling indentations made on the river surface, just like you can see the ripples here. Looking glass, mirror, just like the mirror which is used to see one's reflection. Dusty, covered with dust or dirty. Just like dust, you need broom to clean it. Tramping. Tramping means traveling. Just like this girl is going to travel. Grown-up rivers. River in its last stage, that is before it enters into the sea. Here you can see the river that is entering into the sea in its last stage. Fairyland. Imaginary land, land which doesn't exist in real life. Here you can see the image of fairyland. Dine. Dine, to take night meal, supper. Just like the children are enjoying the supper here. Playthings. Toys. You can see the toys in the image. Now let's understand the poem stanza wise. Here is the first stanza. Up into the cherry tree, who should climb but little me? I held the trunk with both my hands and looked abroad on foreign lands. The poet climbed up the cherry tree when he was a little boy. He climbed up the tree by making the grip from both of his hands. From the top of the tree he was able to see beyond his house. The thing that he was not able to see earlier, now from the top of the tree he can see beyond his house. Earlier he remained in the house, but the moment he climbed up the tree he was able to see many more things. Next stanza. I saw the next door garden lie, adorned with flowers before my eye, and many pleasant places more that I had never seen before. The poet from the top saw the garden next to his door. The garden had many flowers in bloom. The garden was decorated with flowers. He could also see many more beautiful places like landscape and other garden, trees, which he had never seen before. This shows the free spirit or imaginative spirit of the child, how he imagines as a boy the world beyond his house. I saw the dimpling river pass and be the sun's blue-looking glass. The dusty roads go up and down with people tramping into town. The poet saw the dimpling river pass. The river has been personified here as it has been assumed as human being. Human beings have dimples in their cheeks, but now here the river is personified with the characteristics of human being, and be the sun's blue-looking glass. The river appears like a looking glass for the sun as its image is reflected in the river water. Here you can see the sun and the river. You can see the river is acting as a glass for the sun as it is reflecting its image in the river. The speaker saw the dusty roads go up and down. The people use these roads to travel to the town. You can see the people go up and down. They are using the path to go to the town or to trudge to town. If I could find the higher tree farther and farther, I should see to where the grown-up river slips into the sea among the ships. The speaker wishes to climb a higher tree so that he could see farther. Now the speaker wants to climb the higher tree, the bigger one, from where he could see farther in the sense of distance. He could see many more things. If the speaker's wishes come true, he would be able to see farther than he could see now when he was little and he climbed up the tree of his house. He would see the big rivers joining with floating ships. Here you can see the river in their final course join the sea. Moreover, you can see the ships sailing in the sea. Let's read the next stanza. To where the roads on either hand lead onward into fairyland, where all the children dine at 5 and all the playthings come alive. From there he could see the roads that would lead him to a fairyland. He would see the road on both sides which would lead him to fairyland, where all the children dine at 5 o'clock. Children must have taken their supper at 5 o'clock, and the poet once again wants to play there with toys and enjoy just as he did when he was a boy. You can see, since it being a fairyland, all things might be magical. Magical toys, magical trees. So it might be the world of poet's fantasy, where all the magical things would come alive. Now we should study the poetic device used in the poem. Poetic device. Personification. Personification is the figure of speech in which lifeless objects are presented as having the life. They are assumed with the characteristics of living beings. We can see the figure of speech personification. In this line, I saw the dimpling river pass. Dimpling river here has been personified because we can see dimples in the cheeks of human beings. Have any one of you seen the dimples in the river? Personification once again is used in this line also, where the grown up river slips. Grown up is the stage of human being. Here the rivers are assumed as grown up. So personification is once again used here. Second figure of speech that has been used in the poem is metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech in which comparison is made between two objects or things, but comparative words are missing, just like so, as, like, etc. are hidden. The figure of speech metaphor is used in this line. Blue looking glass. Blue is the river and it is working as that of a mirror, as it is reflecting the image of the sun. So the words like has been missed here. It is hidden here. That's why the metaphor is in this line, blue looking glass. Now we should read about the rhyming words and rhyming scheme. Rhyming words are those words which end with same sound. Rhyming words have same ending sound. You can see in these two lines, up into the cherry tree, who would climb but little me? Tree and me, both ends with same sound, that is E. Tree, me. Being same sound, they are given the alphabet A and A. In these two lines, tree rhymes with me. Next two lines. I held the trunk with both my hands and looked abroad on foreign lands. Hands, lands. Same ending sound, and since the sound differs from the first two, so another alphabet B is given to these lines, because hands and lands ends with the same sound. So we have given B alphabet here. Both the words hands and lands both with same ending sound. Rhyming scheme of first stanza will be A, B, B. This is how the entire stanzas of the poem same rhyming scheme will be applied. Lie, I, more, before, pass, glass, down, town, tree, sea, slips, ships, hand, land, 5, alive. So, I hope that rhyming words are clear to you by now. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you for watching this video.